Every day, huge recycling factories process over 1,000 tons of metal. That's more than the weight of 130 school buses, turning old scrap into usable metal. It's one of the biggest operations in the recycling world. This isn't just about saving space in landfills. It's about saving energy, money, and the planet. Recycling metal takes far less energy than mining and making new metal from scratch. In fact, recycling aluminum uses 95% less energy than producing it from raw materials. That's why these massive metal recycling plants are working day and night. These factories process used metal items like old cars, soda cans, and broken appliances and turn them into something new. Instead of throwing these things away, they collect them, sort them, and break them down to be reused again. With metal, this works really well because it can be recycled over and over again without losing its strength or quality. But why is recycling metal so important? First, it saves natural resources. Mining for metal takes a lot of digging and destroys land. Recycling helps us avoid that. Second, it saves energy. Making metal from recycled material uses way less energy than starting from raw ore. Third, it reduces pollution. Less mining means fewer greenhouse gases and cleaner air and water. And finally, it helps businesses and the economy. Factories that recycle metal create thousands of jobs and provide materials for cars, buildings, tools, and more. Metal is one of the best materials for recycling. And when factories can process 1,000 tons a day, the positive impact is huge for both people and the planet. Before I show you the incredible process of metal recycling, can you take the time to subscribe to my channel? I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and your help would mean a lot. The journey of metal recycling begins with collection. Scrap metal comes from many places: old cars, broken washing machines, leftover pipes from construction sites, and even everyday soda cans. Some metal is dropped off at recycling centers by the public. Other times, companies send big loads of scrap from factories or demolition sites. Once the metal arrives at the recycling facility, it goes through a sorting process. This is super important because not all metals are the same. Some are ferrous metals, like steel and iron, which contain iron and are magnetic. Others are non-ferrous metals like aluminum, copper, and brass, which are not magnetic and usually worth more money. Magnets help separate the ferrous metals. For non-ferrous types, the factory uses advanced technology like sensor-based sorting, or even manual workers to pick out the good stuff. This sorting stage helps make sure the recycling process runs smoothly and keeps the final metal pure. Once sorted, the metal heads into the shredding stage. This part is loud and powerful. Huge machines called industrial shredders tear apart big chunks of metal. Imagine a car going into a giant blender. In just seconds, it's turned into tiny pieces no bigger than your hand. Shredding does two big things. First, it makes the metal easier to handle. Smaller pieces melt faster in the furnace. Second, it allows for even better separation of materials. Sometimes metal objects are mixed with plastic, rubber, glass, or other metals. These all need to be removed. After shredding, the pieces move along conveyor belts. Here, different machines take over. Separators help pull out non-ferrous metals. These machines use spinning magnets to push aluminum away from the rest. Optical sorters use cameras and light to identify different types of materials. Air jets then blow out the right ones. This part of the factory is like a smart robot highway, sorting thousands of pounds of metal every hour. By the end, what's left is a clean, sorted batch of metal pieces, ready for melting. Now it's time to melt the metal. This happens in huge furnaces that can reach temperatures over 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The shredded and sorted metal is loaded in, batch by batch. These furnaces run non-stop, day and night, to keep up with demand. Different types of metal are melted separately. Steel goes in one furnace, aluminum in another, and so on. This prevents mixing and keeps the final product strong and useful. But before the molten metal can be used again, it must be purified. This is where factories remove any leftovers, like paint, coatings, or tiny bits of other materials. There are several ways to do this. One method is using a flux, a material added to the furnace that helps pull out impurities. Another is electrolysis, which uses electricity to clean the metal. The goal is to get the metal as pure as possible, often up to 99.9% purity, so it can be used in everything from airplanes to kitchen pans. Once the purification is complete, the molten metal is ready to be shaped. The final step is cooling down the melted metal. It's poured into molds and shaped into ingots, bars, or sheets. These are the basic building blocks that manufacturers use to create new products. Some factories make custom shapes depending on what's needed. For example, if a car company orders aluminum panels, the recycled metal may be rolled into flat sheets. If a construction company needs steel beams, the molten metal is cast in long, strong forms. Once the metal has cooled and hardened, it's loaded onto trucks or trains and sent to different factories across the country, or even around the world. This recycled metal can now be turned into cars, airplanes, bridges, soda cans, phones, and so much more. Thanks to smart machines, powerful furnaces, and trained workers, this whole process can happen in just a few hours. And when you do it on the scale of 1,000 tons a day, the impact is massive. Metal recycling doesn't just help the environment, it also boosts the economy. This industry creates thousands of jobs across the world. From collection and sorting to furnace operation and transportation, it takes a lot of people to keep a 1,000-ton per day factory running. It also helps businesses save money. Recycled metal is usually cheaper than new metal, but it works just as well. That makes it a smart choice for manufacturers building everything from cars to electronics. Plus, countries that recycle metal can depend less on expensive imports, keeping more money in the local economy. As the world pushes for cleaner energy and smarter resource use, metal recycling will become even more important. New technology is making recycling faster, smarter, and more efficient. Machines are learning to sort metal better, melt it faster, and save more energy. Even AI is helping. Governments are also starting to create laws that support recycling and reduce waste. That means more factories, better systems, and a greener future. Recycling 1,000 tons of metal each day is already impressive, but it's just the beginning. The future of recycling is bright, and it's something we all can be a part of.